the jobs we really wanted to get done while we had the digger on hire was to take out this hedge. This is where a new slab will be going down for the workshop we'll be building, and that meant taking out the hedge and taking up some of the topsoil. So we relocated the ducts, and then I needed to find the shredder, which of course was right at the back of the shed, and needed to have everything emptied out of the way to get to it. So once I'd managed to find the shredder, check it was still working after it being sat for a few years, I took it up to the top and set up a bit of a shredding station. Now we had a couple of helpers for the weekend, so I wanted to make sure that no one was waiting around and there was lots for people to do. So I set up a few different stations. We obviously had the digger, we had the turf cutter, we've got to take the hedge down, and we needed to shred. So I thought I'd set up a little station here, and basically we'd just mince everything down, and we could use this as a bit of a mulch and use it under the hedge at the bottom of the garden. So I clipped my way in with some loppers to start with, just so I could get in, and then made my way through it with the chainsaw. Now, it's pretty dusty stuff, this is a Leylandi sort of conifer hedge, and the inside brown stuff is really dusty. So I had a dust mask on and kind of lopped off all of the lower branches. The canopy of it, right at the top, was too thick to go through the shredder, so we put that into a burn pile, and then Eden helped me rake up all the little bits so we could make sure we shredded anything possible to reduce the amount we needed to burn or to take out. I cut down all the trunks themselves, stacked those for firewood, and then set about trying to get these stumps out with the digger. Now this is the smallest digger you can possibly hire, and it's probably not man enough for the job, so it took a little while. You've got to dig around these stumps to kind of break up the roots and then lift out the stump. And just check out this topsoil. I mean, it's basically compost. This is years of decomposing branches and foliage that's fallen off. So there's a really rich compost here that we could take down to the veg garden and make sure we reuse. Most of them came out okay. It was, again, a bit of a wrestling match, kind of getting around them. And I don't think this digger's particularly strong enough or heavy enough to pull them out in one. But they're out now. Again, loads of really quality topsoil here, which we're going to have to move, because we want there to be a stable base here for a concrete pad in the future. So all that will get shifted down, dropped over the wall, and we'll relocate that in the veg patch. That's what I'm going to crack on with now, and I will get some more footage on this throughout the day, and we'll see how we go. So I needed to start shifting all of this topsoil, and just chucked it all over the wall really, so I could deal with it in the future. It's all going to have to be sifted because there's quite a lot of lumps and bumps in it, but it's probably the easiest place to put it, and I wanted to avoid using skips or having to pay to have any of this taken away. Besides, it's pretty good topsoil which we can reuse. So I got into a bit of a rhythm of shoveling this stuff over, kind of scooping it up and dumping it over the wall, and I did manage to avoid the apple tree on most of the swings, but we did give it a light pruning, a couple of whacks. I then marked out a pretty rough idea of where I was going to finish the slab, because I wanted to make sure I could kind of dig down and get as much as possible sorted while I had the digger. It's amazing how much quicker it is. You know, it'd take just a minute to dig out this bit of turf here, but by hand, you know, you could times that by 10 at least. And then again, I'm kind of shoveling stuff towards me, backing up a bit, shoveling it again, and then swinging it over the wall. So you kind of got to think 2 steps ahead of you when you're using the digger, because otherwise you can back yourself into a corner. This tended to work quite well because I could kind of dig as much as I can in front of me, and then I can bulldoze it out using the scoop on front. And then that evening we went for a bit of a bonfire to get rid of this stuff, and although it would have been better to dry it even more, this Leylandi burns pretty good once the bonfire's hot. So after shredding everything we could, Joe got girl guiding and lit us a bonfire.
Hang on, don't care. See? One match wonder this, by the way, guys.
Yeah. So here's the view from upstairs. We've removed that hedge, as you can see, and we've got those old fence panels, which we will replace at some point. The remnants of the bonfire are still there, those tree stumps. So that's the cutout for the new workshop, which at some point will be built, but I wanted to do the prep work. So what I'll do is put the sub base down and possibly even get the concrete slab poured this summer. So this is the next morning, and I'm really trying to squeeze out every minute that we had the digger on hire. So we made an early start and just grading anything that was left. I really wanted to get down to some really hard soil. At this point I'd still planned to have the digger go back on that morning, so I'm really kind of flat out to get things done, and then we ended up taking the digger up to the front of the house to lift up the driveway where we were going to relay that with some gravel. In the end I actually kept the digger for a couple more days because I realised it was going to be much more cost efficient to keep it on and get all the hardcore delivered that week rather than do the same again in the future, or stupidly I thought I could manage without the digger and do it all by hand, but it paid off to keep it for an extra day. So the next video I'll show you what we got up to up on the driveway. It was a bit of a facelift and a one-day wonder, but it worked great. So remember, if you can, do it yourself, and we'll see you next time.